Hey guys, welcome to the second video in this tutorial series where I'm going to go over some advanced features for the simple transitions framework. So I'm going to jump straight into it. What I've got here is a simple transition, so let's just check that one's working. There we go, so what it does is simply just moves on screen. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add a health bar, but the way I'm going to do it is we're going to have it so each individual segment of the health bar is going to animate in one at a time. Let me just move it into view here. There we go. Hey, there we go. So what we want is say for its first item, then a second, then a third, then a fourth, and then the fifth to animate in one at a time. You can do this manually, but it's going to end up taking a long time. So instead I've got some tools here that help you out. So I'll just step through this. So first of all, let's add a transitional object. I'm going to get them to trigger instantly, and then I'm going to get them to move. And since we're on screen like last time, copy current. And what we want is, that's for the endpoint, we're going to move the start point to be off screen somewhere up here, and we'll copy that as well. Let's go back to looking at it. There we go. Okay, so the first thing we need is to determine the order of this animation. Now if you've done what I normally do, is if you grab a first item and clone it, you'll end up with a lot of items with the same name. And if you scroll through them, they're all ordered a little bit randomly. So the first thing we need to do is to get these into a sequential order. And to help do that, I've got a renaming framework. So if you go to Edit, Transitions, Staggering, and Rename. The first thing it wants is your first object. So if you grab that and stick it in, then what you now need to do is select every other object you want to rename. What this is going to do is it's going to grab the first object and determine the distance of every other object to it, and it'll name them according to their distances. So let's run it and see what it does. So you can see they've all got a unique name. So A is the first one, and then B, and C, and D, and so on and so forth. So now we've got an order where the animation is going to run in. So let's select these all again. I just noticed I forgot a transition time, so I set that to 1.5 seconds. What I'm going to do is edit the delay. What the delay is the time before the animation plays to make sure that it comes in at the time you require. So for example, everything's always had 0, so it transitions in instantly. So what we're going to do is make these each have a different delay. So let's start, edit, transitions, staggering, and delay. Now I'm going to start this delay with 1.5 seconds. This is because the background takes 1.5 seconds to come in, so we want it to start animating once the background's got into place. Then I'm going to add on an increment of 1/4 second. What that does is it adds 1/4 second to each object. It's according to where it is in the list. So let's run it and see what happens. So look at the first one, it's got a delay of 1.5 starting point. And then the next one has 1 and an extra 1/4, and another one, and so forth. So it's going to stagger this animation across all of them. So let's have a look at how this works and watch it playing. Let's just make sure everything's okay. Let's look at the endpoint, yep, start point, perfect. And let's look at full screen. And that's not full screen, there we go. And let's have a play. So first of all, the background moves in, and then each object slowly comes in one at a time. That's actually a little bit slow, I'm not keen on that, so let's move my way, make it a little bit nicer. Let's move away even further, and let's update the start point. Watch it again. It should look a lot nicer now. Nope, I've done that wrong. That's a little bit better. Okay. This doesn't just apply to movements. We can do it with alpha and scaling. We can get some quite nice effects of that. So I'll show you another example with the energy bar. So first of all, let's grab these bars. Actually, let's make them active first. So we need to grab all these bars. Let's zoom in for a better look. Add our transitional objects. Trigger instantly. And this time we're going to do the alpha again and the scale. And we're going to take 1.5 seconds. We're already where we want to be, so let's set our endpoint. And we're essentially where we want it to be, so let's change our scale. And we'll use this as our start point. Perfect. Okay, so same again, we need to select the names. Let's go back to viewing the endpoints so we can actually see them. So edit, transitions, staggering, renaming. Let's grab the first object, the atmosphere first one here, and grab it in. Same again, let's grab all of them in order and run. Okay, now this shows it doesn't even matter if there's more than 26. So let's grab, let's move on down. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, now we can run our stagger code. Let's do exactly the same function again. Transitions, staggering, delay, start at 1.5, and increment by 1/4. Run that, and now what we should have, let's just move this off screen so it's a bit clearer to see. Now what we should have done is we've just edited about 50 objects, and we've done it quite quickly. And let's watch it, see what happens. Moves in, and we can see them slowly fading up quite nicely there. And there you have it. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and hope you enjoy using the toolkit.